Снайпер! Контакт! Прикрой меня! Я должен перезарядиться!
Well, folks, 1.36 on the Russian common test. Take a look at this lineup, but something's wrong. I feel a disturbance in the force. Have you noticed it yet? The can opener is at tier 9? That's obvious, but they're also getting a VZ62S, the Yen-sen. This is our server exclusive vehicle. Normally, it's a one-way street. We're importing stuff from the Russian server, like a BZ74. They don't get the BZ72, so it's a one-way street interaction. But now, we're actually crossbreeding with the Russian server, so big middle finger to the Russian government. Seizing assets from Lesta, but now we're just importing more stuff from the other server. Where's the BZ74? They have it. BZ... oh crap. There it is. BZ74. They don't have the BZ72. So, it's a normal one-way interaction from the Lesta studio to our server. So, we're importing some stuff. They don't get our stuff. They don't have the BZ72. We have the BZ74. So, yeah, they don't get the... it's at tier 8 now too. So, one-way interaction, but after the trial, like a month ago, on Lesta Studio against the Russian government, accusations of supporting the West and other stuff, but I don't know, it's a sham of a trial, whatever. Russian government and judicial system. So we actually get stuff from the Russian server. This is an import from tier 10, but still they don't get the BZ72. It's not the sharing originally. So BZ72, Chinese heavy tank, they don't get it. They don't have stuff like this. This is our server exclusive. Now they're actually getting stuff from our server. Can opener, obvious, but this vehicle was not released yet on our server. It's a tier 9 too with the autoloader. I'll show you. The mantlet is a little bit different, but the VZ62S Yen-sen, we already covered all the vehicles, so go back to the original super test or common test, but check Yen-sen VZ62S. It's this thing with a different mantlet, slightly different mantlet, a little bit wider, but it's this vehicle. So that's interesting. Big middle finger to the Russian government. But another recent example is this morning we had the debut on the super test on the other servers, the LTC2, which is actually already on the Russian server at tier 9 as American light tank. We already covered this vehicle like a year and a half ago, but the ATAC2 is also autoloader, rapid firing gun. It's this thing, except we have 10 rounds of the 90mm. Does not do as much damage, 40 less alpha, but we have 5 more rounds in the clip with slightly better accuracy. So normally we get some stuff from the Russian server, some stuff that are exclusive to our server, but now we're crossbreeding. Yay! So big middle finger to the Russian government. Alright, with that being said, we have already covered the even tier British double barrel vehicles, the Condor, the crossbow, the FV240. They all branch from the Churchill, so we'll take a look at the odd number now. This wasn't featured on the last patch of 1.35. So Cyclone Mk.2 and the Celtic, which is basically the can opener in a sense, but we already covered the FV240, the Condor, and the premium tank, the crossbow. So already covered those last time, but let's take a look at the actual tier 7 comparable to our chopper. Oh my god. It looks like a Sentinel, an AC4. Australians will be proud. The downside to this vehicle is there's no more phallic shaped machine gun in the middle of the hull. That's unfortunate. It needs to have like 2 penises in the front, but no. A chode of a machine gun cover. 20-pounder gun, double barrel, Sentinel, massive thing, I guess, but they drive on the wrong side of the road, so that's why starboard side of the driver hatch, but that's an AC Sentinel if I've ever seen one, especially the turret. 20-pounder gun coming from a 77 and a 17-pounder, but oh god. It looks so goofy on the actual 17-pounder. Oh. But normally it's just the 20-pounder on the chopper, if I remember correctly, on our tier 7. There's a different turret. You can mount a different turret, obviously. Stock turret looks a little bit bulkier. Less like the actual Sentinel, but yeah, 20-pounder gun, 5-man crew, double loader, no radio operator, similar to our British double barrels, but 20-pounder on a tier 7 is not bad, but DPM's okay. It's a average alpha gun when you think about it. 1.5 seconds to prep, which is pretty quick. 3-second lock is not bad. It's not like our system with the new British double barrels. They don't have the siege mode, so to speak, of the double barrel mode, but 2.4 seconds of aim time seems kind of long for a double barrel, or for a 20-pounder anyways, but it is double barrel, and it's fine, I guess. Armor wise, ugh, what the hell? I want to see the armor. Did I click on some event? I did. No, Russian special event. Wonderful. You think our events are not crazy? They have the gold whatever system. Alright. So 150 on the turret front. 89 on the hull front. Oh god. It's about 170-ish to 140 hull front. It's not great, but turret front is only about 200. Auto bounce zones around the mantlet, but flat areas on the cheek. Commander cupola is only 100, so armor is not the best. Yeah, not really. It's more like a medium tank at this point. 76 on the hull front. Not exactly that well curved, but oh, don't overcommit. There are bulges like the turret ring, like this bulge right here, which is basically flat. Get shot right here, you possibly damage the ammo rack. Yeah, it's more like a medium tank at this point. 14.6 horsepower per ton ratio, not the fastest to rev. It's okay, about the same as the chopper, but 34 kilometers per hour top speed. Above average camo. 370 meters of view range. It's like a big medium tank. A big Sentinel, if you will, right? Compare this to the chopper. The chopper has some decent turret armor. Slightly. Chopper, British heavy. Slightly decent mantlet, I guess. Slightly a little bit better. 180, I guess. Its mantlet's a little bit bigger than the flat areas on the Sentinel, in a sense. But Cyclone. Kind of interesting name, I guess. It's fine, I guess. It's a medium tank with a 20-pounder. It's just bigger of a Sentinel. Moving on, they repurposed the premium tier 8 assault artillery. Okay, this was not going to sell against the actual Russian market, I guess. So down tier from tier 8. Not an assault artillery anymore. It's actually a tank destroyer now. So practically another Su-152 in a sense, based off of a KV chassis, but different superstructure, and the same gun practically. Big, large alpha. Yeah, 152. Firing high explosive anti-tank normally with the gold shell. AP is not going to do that much, but yeah, accuracy aim time is kind of garbage. It is premium now at tier 7. 7 degrees per side of gun traverse arc, and 5 for gun depression. Yeah, you don't lob the shell anymore, as with assault artillery. And armor wise, it's no armor. 100mm at the whole front, practically nothing. Yeah, nothing, especially for the superstructure. And you can even pin the mantlet. The mantlet is not even crazy compared to actual ISU mantlet or SU-152 mantlet, right? So KV chassis practically, you'll pin anywhere. It's a sniper support. They call it support. It's you're not sniping anyways with that accuracy. Oh, I mean, I don't know if they're going to sell the premium assault artillery version at tier 8. They also removed it too. It's no longer there on the actual account, or this is not the actual copy. It's the same vehicle, just down tier. They just removed it altogether. 12.25 horsepower per ton ratio, 40 kilometers per hour top speed. It's a heavy tank. Camo's not half bad. I mean, for a tank destroyer, well, for a heavy tank chassis based tank destroyer, that's okay. 14%. And garbage view range, of course. It's whatever, right? The U-18, no longer assault artillery. I can show you. I think tanks.gg has it still. So we're on Lesta, we're on 1.35. The current patch, not the common test. Assault artillery U-18T, right here. So yeah, with the assault artillery playstyle, 0.8 accuracy, but the same vehicle. It is the 100mm, 200mm. Wow. Yeah, that's a lot better. Yeah, this dramatically nerfs the armor. Holy God. It's the same vehicle, just down tiered and remove all the armor. Not even the space armor too. Holy crap. There is a strip of space armor covering the hull front, like with the KV-1 shielded. This is not space armor on the hull front. It is, but it's not that thick. Only 100 behind it, compared to like what, 170. Yeah, still space armor, but definitely much weaker, much weaker. So yeah, whatever. Okay, premium SU-152 in a sense. All right, moving on. Old vehicle, the VZ62 Jensen, different mantlet but the same vehicle. Our version is an autoloader at tier 9, comparable to the Skoda T50, except more shell and less alpha, if I remember correctly. But they're having it at tier 8, Projekt SAT. Mantlet is more in line to a actual Leopard 1 mantlet when you look at it, right? It's wider. Should be thicker in a sense. Crew of 4 compared to our version, which is crew of 3 or crew of 4 too. Crew of 4, but ours at tier 9 with the bomb making capability. 100mm 4-round clip, a little bit less alpha than the Skoda T50, but it's a premium tank. Their version is 100mm single shot at tier 8. Yeah, DPM is not great. 8 degrees gun depression, fine. 0.35 accuracy. About 2.2 seconds aim time. Needs a little bit more DPM, but that's about average. For 340 alpha, fine, I guess, but it kind of feels like the same as the IMT, right? Little bit. Yeah, no armor. 100 at the hull front, 120 at the turret front. So no autoloader, but the mantlet is bigger to eat the shots. What the frick? Yeah, it's 120 turret front. It's 220 millimeters of mantlet armor. What the hell? That is nuts. That is a bait. I mean, you can shoot the 𝗛+ for the commander and the loader. It's only 30, which is crap. But still, that's a troll of a mantlet. It's exceptionally thick. Holy crap. Hull front, yeah, 100, fine. It's a little bit sloped, but nothing too much. So, side scrape, 50. There are some V-shape to the upper parts of the side armor, but it's a very troll mantlet. It's 220mm covering the turret front, as opposed to like 100. It's not even close on our version. It's not even close. There's no armor underneath too. It's only 100 for the mantlet. It's not even close. 160 for the turret cheeks. Yeah, it's not even close. It's also 30 for the 𝗛+, but still 80 for the hull front. This thing is the autoloader. That's a carrying part about this vehicle. It's not about the armor. That's a very troll armor. But otherwise, about 18 horsepower or 1779 compared to our version. 23. No. Much slower to rev, but 60 km/h top speed. Average camo. Average view range. Yeah, our version is definitely more catered towards the same playstyle as the Skoda T50. Right? Definitely more familiar with this vehicle. You have less top speed, but a lot faster to rev. More comparable to the Skoda T50. It's all about the autoloader. Yeah, autoloader with the pin, with the actual burst. But sometimes troll mantlet is troll, but feels kind of meh, right? Very kind of meh, other than the mantlet. But this thing needs more finesse. Possibly an autoloader, like a 3-round, 2-round autoloader with a faster reload, but alright, I guess. Well, it is crossbreeding, so not exactly a new vehicle per se. Oh god. Upgraded turret on a oh god. Oh, the tumor on top. It is the same chassis. It is the same. Is it the same tag? I'll check later for the license plate, but that 𝗛+ is massive. Oh god, with a 30 cal on top. Oh god. Oh, the can opener was so good looking. This is not it. Oh, it's a 105 too, but yeah, 105 L7 dual gun. That 𝗛+ is massive. Jesus. Alright, 𝗩𝗲𝗵𝗶𝗱𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 I don't remember if there's a actual license plate on the actual can opener. No, there isn't. So slightly different. All right, that's fine. This is so much different than this thing. Chassis is completely the same. Pretty much, but yeah, pretty much. Except the turret is obviously, ugh. Let's see, stock turret with a 32 pounder looks more in line. Holy crap. Stock turret looks more like the actual can opener. They call it the FV245, but it's FV230. Whatever. It doesn't exist in real life. Wait a minute. I mean, 250 turret front compared to 275, but about the same. They have better side armor at 110. Should be 110 side armor, but 250, 260, about the same. So I don't know about this turret, man. I don't know about upgrading the turret to this thing. It's like with stuff like the Sherman Jumbo. Upgraded jumbo turret sucks on the Sherman Jumbo. You're losing out on the actual armor thickness. You can mount a better 76mm, but that's besides the point. So yeah, upgrading the turret might be a detriment compared to using the stock turret. But you can... I didn't click on that. Comparing to using the better gun though, you cannot mount the L7 without using the actual turret. So you have to use the turret for the L7. Otherwise, yeah, no top gun. Crappier pin with the 32 pounder and less alpha, of course, but let's see. 2000 DPM on a tier 9? That sucks. Let's see, upgrading the turret buffs the DPM, of course. I don't know. I mean, it's okay of a performance, but I definitely prefer the Conceiver. Or was it Contender at this point? Right? Contender? Contender. So, it's a troll of a cupola. The top doesn't count with the rangefinder. But, yeah, we have better DPM. It's also an L7 practically, but... Ooh, I mean... Debatable which chassis is better, but the gun performance wise, 0.35 accuracy compared to 0.32. Granted, not in siege mode or double shot mode, but we have a faster aim time too. This seems worse, right? For the Celtic, the pseudo can opener, it seems worse, but let's see the actual armor before we make any judgment. 200 hull front, 228 on the driver hatch, 300 on the cheeks. It's not exactly 275. Cupola is sloped 152. Wow. It might be troll too. It's only 230, but that's only in parts of the middle. So it's similar to the Super Conqueror cupola design. It is surprisingly bouncy with the sloping. You have to hit it directly in the middle to pin. Loader cupola does not exist, but that is surprising. I thought this is going to be a big ass weak spot. It's not exactly that. Huh. Let's see, hull front of a actual can opener, just to compare. But I don't think the driver hatch is that weak on the actual can opener. Yeah, the driver hatch is not that weak. It's 250 compared to 230. It's only 100 above the actual driver hatch, but yeah. I mean, the big ass mantlet does cover everything, other than the actual cupola on top. Yeah, it's more similar to the Super Conqueror's cupola design. Right? Or actually the regular Conqueror. Never mind. Like with the sloping, with the roundness. But that's interesting. Just shoot the... Whoa, 55! For the actual opening on... Or top of the driver hatch. Oh, 55. This is the weak spot. Shoot here. You'll definitely pin. Or the bottom plate. Well, debatable on the bottom plate. Side armor is 110. A little bit better than our version of the tier 10, but that is interesting how the cupola just works out. It just works. Interesting. But does that mean the stock turret is weaker? Let's see. Stock turret. Calculate. More similar to our version. Slightly bigger cupola. Slightly, but I don't know. Upgrading the turret might not be a bad idea. I mean, the cupola is still resilient from the looks of it, right? Even though it looks like a bulging tumor, it looks still pretty resilient. At least from direct fire, mostly. So, comparable to a tortoise cupola in a sense. Looks like a weak spot, you have to hit dead center to pin. Or shoot the driver hatch. Alright. Not as fast to rev. I mean, we have about 15 horsepower per turn ratio on the actual can opener. This is the Super Conqueror. I have a turbocharger, that doesn't count. But still, yeah, it doesn't feel as fast to rev as with our version. And the gun is okay. it's not as good performance of a 105 at tier 9 for a heavy, but view range, camo, average-ish. Feels kind of sluggish to rev, and the gun doesn't seem as crazy, but armor could still hold up, right? So, it's fine, I guess. Alright, moving on. Spider. Tier 9. British light tank. 3-man crew. Looks like a flat. It's more like a squished T100 light tank from the looks of it too. Interesting. It's real flat. It's more like a medium tank at this point. Turret looks big too. But looks like a also big caliber gun for a light tank. Real big caliber gun for a light tank. What the hell is this thing? It's like a setter if you just squish it into a flat vehicle. 105 auto reloader. First shell is longer to reload than the last shell. 320 alpha damage. Pen could be a little bit better, but you're probably spamming gold shell. Accuracy is not great. Aim time is kind of long. 3-man crew. Alright. Auto reloader on a light tank. DPM suck. Yeah, 13.7 seconds for 320 alpha is not great. You have the surprise of the 600 alpha, but it takes a while to reload. Takes like 35 seconds, right? For the actual 2 rounds to reload. That only deals 640 alpha with 0.4 accuracy and 2.4 seconds of aim time. For that body size, 1400 DPM is not great. No armor, as expected. Tier 9 light tanks, of course. 30 hull front. It's somewhat low of a silhouette, but no armor. Some auto bounce zones on top of the turret, but yeah, no auto bounce mostly on top of the turret or mantlet. But otherwise, you'll pin. You'll definitely pin, especially with the large silhouette on the sides. That's a large body, even though it's kind of flat. So unless this vehicle is like half the size, you could justify the DPM or other stuff, but kind of a big body, right? 28 horsepower per ton ratio, 65 kilometers per hour top speed. Not the craziest for light tanks, especially for those above like 30 horsepower per ton, but camo okay, 21%. It's not bad for camo compared to stuff like the T49. Not bad, or the Bulldog, not bad, but I'm worried about the body size. So as long as you're not remained spotted, you're fine, right? But if you do get spotted, you get shot at, and that body size means you'll likely get hit. And only 380 meters of view range. This needs more DPM, or at least better accuracy for the justifying of the auto reloader, like 0.3 accuracy or something, right? At least you could snipe or something, but that accuracy, that aim time with that DPM and that pin baseline or the alpha, you're putting way too much effort into a gun that doesn't perform that well for a light tank. Also the big body, so this is hit or miss, right? Right? Compare this to a Projekt Luis. That's more like a medium tank, except the gun is scary. It's a rapid firing 75 with practically auto loader of a AMX 1357 at tier 9. So yeah, this thing needs accuracy buff at least, so you can make it like a Manticore in a sense. So you could snipe with 640 alpha, right, of a 2 shell burst. But it is 2.5 seconds between each shot. The DPM just sucks. Accuracy sucks. Penetration is meh. So, yeah, skip. Mostly skip. And finally, Projekt 57. What is this thing? It's a autoloader, French, tier 10, heavy tank. So, we'll probably import it for assembly shop. I mean, with the rate of the recent assembly shop, you would probably expect like, at least 3 per year, siphoning millions of free XP mostly, but yeah, that's the norm now, or just put it into a loot box. Why not? So at least they're putting, well, it is World of Tanks, not World of Maps. We need World of Maps. At least they have enough tier 10 candidates. Holy crap. But yeah, really weird turret design. Auto bounce angles. Flat. Kind of flat of a hull design. But yeah, if you're liking the AMX50B, this is right up your alley. Very much right up the alley. Also, 4-man crew. Normally it's... Wait, isn't the loader? Wait a minute. I have to make sure. It's just OCD of mine to double check. I don't really play the... Not British. French. The AMX50B. Really? I thought it was a loader, not a radio operator. It's the same layout as with the 50B. But how good is the actual gun? It's a 120 supposedly. 120? 5 rounds in the clip. DPM is not bad. Not as good accuracy as the 50B. Yeah, not 0.36. Yeah, definitely. Accuracy doesn't compare. Aim time also doesn't compare, but gun depression also doesn't compare. About the same DPM too, but you have one more round. So it takes longer to reload, but you have one more round. So burst fire potential is better, right? With 2.5 seconds between each shot. 5 rounds in the clip. Compared to 4 rounds in the clip. So if you want more burst damage from an AMX50B, might be a little bit better, right? Might be. 2,300 health. That's quite chunky for a autoloader. That's about 300 or 200 more than the 50B. 200 more. Armor, let's see. It's a very troll hull front for the 50B. Shoot the turret front on this vehicle. It's 120 on the hull front, 170 on the turret front. Well sloped, 120. Could bounce a few on the upper plate, to the bottom plate, of course. Or turret cheeks are very troll. Strips of auto bounce zones of about 300mm. So turret is more troll than the 50B. Definitely more troll. Shoot the cupola if you manage to hit, or the actual base of the oscillating turret. But yeah, miss your shot, and there could be a chance of auto bounce. Yeah, there are chances of auto bounce. So a little bit more resilient than this armor. The turret armor on this thing sucks. Shoot the turret. Just shoot the turret. No question. Let's see. The hull front is troll. Don't shoot the hull front of the 50B. Yeah, don't shoot the upper plate. It's about 300 in some parts. Shoot the turret front. Turret front's super weak. Super weak. Especially the base. You can sometimes even jam high explosive from stuff like the HESH rounds. But yeah, the turret base. Shoot the turret. So definitely more resilient on the turret. A little bit more health. Not as fast to rev. 20 on the actual AMX50B compared to about 16. Yeah, 19 without turbocharger, but still. Also top speed. Definitely not as fast. Camo, meh. View range, meh. So, this is like a Samoa SM, in a sense, comparing to a Lorraine 40T, right? So practically more ammo, better armor, not as fast when it's covering the AMX50B parts, I guess. But if you want to play the Samoa SM at tier 10, might be the vehicle, right? I haven't seen the side armor, but looking at the sides, it's not too crazy. It's only 60 with 30mm hull or 30mm tracks. Shoot the engine deck, raise engine deck in the back, but just shoot the turret if you manage. Or no, shoot the turret. Might be troll. Yeah, you'll jam a shell if he's side scrape. He should be hauled down with 7 degrees gun depression. So shoot the turret base, possibly shot trap to the bottom of the oscillating turret. But it's a Samoa SM in comparison to a Lorraine 40T. That's a relationship to an AMX50B. So this thing is more survivable, but at the cost of speed and mobility. So not as fast to rev and not as fast in a straight line, but yeah, we'll likely see it in a loot box or simply shop. So pretty much, well, there you go, folks. That's kind of interesting, right? We're crossbreeding with the Russian server. We're giving stuff like VZ62S, the Yensen as a tier 8, and the can opener as a tech tree vehicle at tier 9. With a surprising tumor on top. Very surprising. But we already covered the previous, the Condor, the crossbow, the FV240 already. So we don't want to go over these again. We already covered them. But go back to the original video. So I already have it on the channel. But we already covered the Storm Tiger and the Mosenkönig, the Mouse King. So that was the last time. Normally on the Russian server, they test even number tiers with the new branch first, and then they test the whole branch later on with the next patch. So that's how they do stuff with stuff like the assault artillery, with the flamethrower heavy tanks for the Americans. But well, that's the way it goes. Now, a big middle finger to the Russian government. They're actually importing our stuff. Whereas normally, or originally, they weren't. So, yeah, or whatever. Looks like Putin did not stop less stuff from making new stuff, which is good, right? So that's a plus. But as always, thank you guys for watching this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
На границе тучи ходят, ура!